Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Colin, Evran, Head of Ecosystem Growth at Protocol Labs, to discuss the launch of the Filecoin virtual machine. The open data economy is here. It's great to meet with you, Colin. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me on, Jill.
You got it. Tell me about the significance of this, both for the Filecoin ecosystem and more generally for Web3 and decentralized computation.
Definitely. So with the Silicon Valley Bank incident last week, we all witnessed how scary it can be to rely on a single centralized entity with all of your financial assets. I think it's only a matter of time before we see similar incidents with the world's data assets. Today, 2/3 of all data stored in the cloud is stored with just 3 companies. So if one of those companies goes offline or increases prices or starts you don't want them to, there's very little businesses can do about it. Now, today's launch of the Filecoin virtual machine creates the first truly open data economy, and that's meaningful for 3 reasons. It is the largest decentralized storage network in the world. Users can choose from over 3,800 different data centers across 44 countries to store their data. 2, today's launch introduces the concept of programmable storage for the first time. And this is where users can verifiably determine how and where their data gets placed, incentivized, and monetized in the data economy. And 3rd, FEM enables compute over data, which means that we will soon be able to support applications of the scale of Twitter or YouTube on Web3 infrastructure like Filecoin, something that's never been done.
One fascinating thing about this is the potential to reshape how we capture and create value from data. What does an open data economy look like, and how will this impact society?
Sure. So the open data economy basically means users and businesses have complete control over their data. So users can now program how your data is stored. For example, you can say, I want my data to be stored on 20 different data centers across 3 continents for the next 10 years. And if any of those go offline, it'll automatically replicate the data across a new provider or data center. Users can also take control over how their data is monetized. So for example, today there are centralized companies that sell your aggregated credit card data without you knowing about it and make a ton of money doing so. There are startups building on Filecoin now that now allow you to contribute your own anonymized credit card data directly and benefit from selling that in an aggregated way in an open data economy. So these are the types of use cases that programmability will enable for Filecoin.
Can you talk to me more about the concept of decentralized compute over data? Why is it important, and how can it improve people's lives?
Sure. So decentralized compute over data refers to performing data processing or analytics and computations over large-scale data sets. So this basically enables much larger applications to run on Web3 tech, but it also enables things like AI training models over really valuable data. So for example, if you store a large public genomics or clinical trial data set on Filecoin, you can now have many different AI models trained to analyze that data and get insights on clinical research or drug discovery. And with the launch of FEM, computation can now run in parallel across many different nodes, and data centers can specialize in hardware geared towards efficient computation. So that makes things like AI model training much more accessible, scalable, and cost-effective.
Right, and we've spoken about Filecoin on Trade Talks in the past, and our viewers will know it as a decentralized storage protocol. FEM expands this universe. So where is Filecoin now? And can you talk to me more about the overall Filecoin master plan?
Absolutely. So today, Filecoin is the largest decentralized storage protocol in the world. There are 3,800 different data centers across 44 countries that store data with a total capacity of 13 exabytes. And that's enough to store 4 billion high-definition movies. Since the beginning of last year, the amount of client data stored on Filecoin has gone up by a factor of 27x, from about 25 petabytes at the beginning of last year to 650 today. And so the launch of FEM really introduces an operating system to all of that data. Any developer can deploy smart contracts on the network. It allows more people to participate in the creation and capture of value around data. You can kind of compare it to the moment that Apple and the iPhone became programmable with the introduction of App Store. You can introduce all sorts of applications that make that phone a lot more useful.
One persistent issue we've heard about with Web3 is that it's not yet web scaled. We report on all these interesting technologies, but what do we do with it, right, as consumers? So how is the Filecoin team solving this?
That's right. So Web3 brings verifiability to our internet transactions. And as you said, we have yet to cross the chasm where Web3 infrastructure can support large Web2 style applications, think like Twitter or YouTube or TikTok. And so those applications need large scale data processing and compute to be able to run on Web3 tech. So with the launch of the Filecoin virtual machine, Filecoin can begin to scale Web3 storage and compute to support those major applications that can serve billions of users. And so we can move them into a world where users have complete verifiability and trust in how their data is being stored and used in the world.
And finally, last for me, how do people get involved with FEM?
Sure. So startups can get involved in the data economy starting later today. If you've built on the Ethereum EVM, it's really easy to use the Filecoin FEM as well. But there's a whole series of programs to help startups get started: hackathons, accelerator programs, and investor capital. In fact, on March 21st, we're running a program called Phil.vc. It's a demo day for 25 startups building on Filecoin. 400 investors have signed up to kind of view that. And there's more and more opportunities for startups to get embedded, build stuff on Filecoin, and also get funding from venture capital.
All right, Colin, appreciate the insight. Congratulations on the launch, and thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you, Jill.